Welcome to Rapid Motion Dirtworks. Look at this magnificent scenery that joins us this week of the city of Umhlatuz. It's the Richards Bay and Empangeni area, one of the biggest growth points in South Africa at this point in time. Really magnificent sight as you come into this brand new harbour that's being developed, and also the headquarters to Bell Equipment, who are one of our main sponsors of the Irvin Bell Off-Road Challenge that we'll be covering this week on Rapid Motion Dirtworks. Bell Equipment, established in 1954 by Mr. Irvin Bell, and is now one of the biggest growing yellow metal companies in the country, and has partnered up with the Irvin Bell Off-Road Challenge for the last 20 years as one of their major sponsors. Tuskers Motorsport are very happy to have Bell Equipment and the city of Umhlatuz on board as their sponsors, and a big thanks to Bell Equipment and the city of Umhlatuz for all their support. This Irvin Bell Off-Road Challenge, Round 5 of the South African Off-Road Motorcycle Championship, is brought to you by the city of Umhlatuz and Bell Equipment. A magnificent setting here in Natal, which is really where we'd like to be, considering that we've had some really dusty sections all along the championship so far. And all the main contenders have made their way down to KwaZulu-Natal for Round 5 of the SA Motorcycle Off-Road Championship.
Unfortunately, Mother Nature wasn't kind to us to start off. A couple of days ago, we had 210 mils of rain, which flooded all our low-lying area of the course. We've had to cut a little bit of that out because it's still underwater. But I'd like to say to the landowners and the farmers in this area really have come to the party. They've gone the extra mile. The guys have stopped their haulage in the areas that we're going to run. They've mowed the grass. They've helped with the roads. A really big thank you to the landowners for the support and what they've put into the sport. It's really been great. We had some low-lying bridges that were washed away, and Bell's put everything into this event, and they brought in their big payloaders, and they rebuilt the bridges, and many man-hours of machine time was put in by Bell's, which was great to see the support that they can offer.
A long-standing relationship with this event from Bell Equipment, and the championship points look as follows. Spencer Creel on top of the open class ahead of Grey Dick and Clayton Enslin, and down in the 250 class it's Gavin Lowe on the Kawasaki ahead of Wynand Kleinans and Bolly van Rooyen.
The mud is not such a big issue for me. The slippery, I think I have an advantage. Growing up and racing in Natal for the last 10 years, we're sort of used to the wet weather and wet conditions. So I'm looking at it as an advantage for me. We just got to go carefully in the sloppy mud, not to get mud on your goggles and make any mistakes. Obviously, you don't want to crash in it and get it on your gloves and whatever. So just go fast, but go safe.
It's always exciting to come to a new race, because you got your locals that got the advantages, but everybody's basically on par here, so it's just the better rider wins.
In terms of the 200cc class, it's Marcus Talliard who leads by 3 points ahead of Carl Poppleton, both on KTMs, and Wynand Delport is going to have a charging Theo Potgieter in the 125 class.
I think this is going to be a very awesome race. No dust and stuff. It's kind of muddy, it rained quite a bit here, so I'm happy for that, but I'm just going to go out there, take it easy, just finish the race and just dust, because Craig and Carl is just behind me, and I think it's going to be bashing handlebars all the way to the end.
Well, that's what we're looking forward to. Racing Section 1, there's 3 laps of 108 kilometers to go, and we're right here at the Empangeni airfield for the start of the first day's event. Here we go off with Spencer Creel leading off the field. On bike number 4, right on his tail, is going to be the Natro Freight beater of Clayton Enslin, and then it's Daryl Curtis, followed by Grey Dick, just in the background there. Joining me in the commentary booth, as per usual, here in these off-road events, Gary Franks from Enduro World Magazine. Gary, great to have you on board, bud.
Thanks, Greg, and it's once again great to be here.
Looking forward to something completely different down here, where they've had a lot of rain, and I think the guys are going to be in for a little bit of a wetter section than what they've experienced so far in the Off-Road Championship.
That's true, Greg. This year we've seen a lot of events ruined or spoilt by rain, and this year this event was actually made really great by the rain, so it's quite interesting.
Well, we heard up front there from the organisers that Bell Equipment have actually put in a lot of work to get the washed away bridges and a lot of sections, as we see Theo Potgieter just in the foreground here, that have washed away from the rain back into working order, and give the guys an opportunity to actually ride those sections.
Bell did a great job here, and also with Tuskers involved, they do a good job of marking a route, and they have a lot of experience and put on a great show here.
Yeah, what a magnificent area to ride in as well. Look at the scenery here in the KwaZulu-Natal region as we go on board with the chopper at the moment, and this is the leader at this stage. It's number 4, Spencer Creel. Looks like he's putting a bit of a gap on the rest of the field as he heads off into this wetland section.
This, of course, is Spencer's home ground, and this is where he grew up riding. So he's at home here, and he's basically checking out and starting to build up a lead already.
Yes, indeed, as we come into the Reading Dam area. Now, unfortunately, this dam broke its banks just a couple of days ago, and as you can see, making for a slightly more difficult section than usual in an off-road championship, but that's what it's all about. You don't want things all your own way, and oops, speaking of going all your own way, it looks like Bolly van Rooyen's gone a little bit wayward, yeah? He's gone straight on where he should have turned left. And fortunately, the guys behind him seeing the mistake, and well, he's turned around and got back onto the circuit as we go back to the front. And this is Spencer. Megatrade AGA KTM team being followed by the Natro Beta team here of Clayton Enslin. He's looking pretty good so far, hey?
Clayton's going well. He had a good start. He actually put pressure on Spencer early in the game, but then unfortunately partially drowned his bike and had some electrical problems after that.
Can you believe that? The man in third place is Grey Dick, and in fourth place on a 125, Theo Potgieter. There's Bolly. He's the man who made the mistake earlier, and that's allowed Spencer to build a bit of a gap now, and of course also for Grey and Theo Potgieter to get past him. And then we've got Carl Poppleton. He comes through there looking also pretty good at this stage, eh?
Yeah, and he's been hounded a little bit by Marcus Talliard. Also Marcus's home ground here.
Marcus, a long-time campaigner down here. Lawrence Merton just behind Daryl Curtis. We just saw him in the foreground there. But Merton on the Ramco Suzuki also looking pretty ominous at this stage. But of course, this is the first lap. It's 108 Ks. Can you handle that? That's a long, long lap to do in conditions like this.
It is, because you had to be a bit careful here, Greg. There were a lot of off-camber turns with water and mud. Makes it a bit tricky.
Well, it's a little bit better than the last time you and I were in the studio. You can see that the guys have cut down those sugarcane fields, cut the grass as well, which means that you can see the area in front of you and there's no tricky little bits that might throw you over the bars.
Also no dust, Greg. I heard Vincent Trethuri of Tuskers guaranteeing that there'd be no dust, and I thought, well, that's quite a bold statement, but as you can see, there's absolutely no dust here.
So far, so good on that prediction. Well done to the Tuskers boys. They've done a great job. Most of the guys don't seem to be running too wide. You can see perfect marking as we go past one of the big markers there, and that's going to make all our riders' lives a lot easier as well.
This is Michael Spencer from the ECS KTM team, also going well on the day.
They've had a good season so far as well with young Craig Stone and the opportunity of running in the top 20. And of course with Spencer also having a good opportunity to run up there too.
Yeah, here's Clifford Blackman.
CJ having a good start so far to the season as well. But round 5, it's now getting to the halfway point in this season. And guys starting to have to consolidate points, making sure that they finish up and actually finish events. That's the most important thing. Get the points on the table so that you don't fall back into the clutches of anybody else that might be out there.
Here goes Stephen Williams on the Roost Kawasaki.
Steve Williams has had a bit of a tough season. He hasn't had much finishes this season, although he did really nicely in the Endurocross at the beginning of the season. And we saw him come through and actually take on some of the top contenders there. But unfortunately, a couple of DNFs have cost him a bit of championship points.
There goes Mark Garland, number 200 on the Roberts Racing TM.
Mark had a nice outing the last time we were in the studio together, and let's see if he can do the same today. 45 Ramco Suzuki rider.
That's Craig Ramsey, Stuart Ramsey's son. He's followed by Len Dutoy on the Yamaha.
Interesting to see how the guys have not got away from each other. They're actually quite tightly bunched here. There was 5-second intervals at the start, so that's something completely different to what we normally see.
The organisers, in fact, wanted to have mass starts of 10 riders in a row, but MSA wouldn't allow that, which I'm quite pleased about. But the 5-second intervals kept the racing tight, and it meant that nobody was going to really get away from the rest of the crowd.
Some of our senior riders coming through there. That was Brian Bader, as we used to call him Badger, but he's out in front, and here comes Sean Kirk, looking pretty good.
And there comes Kingsley Nurden, also ECS KTM rider, and he's always strong in Natal.
Yeah, just using all of Natal as well to get around that corner. Unfortunately, he's just missing the turn, but he'll be back up and riding and really up there as quickly as possible. Ord Racing team rider there as well, I think, if I'm not mistaken. That was Vernon Lowe, and he's looking like he's leading the silver class at this point in time.
And then Dudley Smith behind him
on the Husky. So things are looking pretty good. One of the Bell equipment riders there as well. Nice to see them sponsoring some riders as well as the event. Oopsie, taking out the marking board. That's going to make it a bit difficult for the next rider through. Or is it? No, marshals have put that marker back up. It's great to see that the Tuskers boys are working overtime. As we go back into the first refuel for the day.
Here we see Spencer changing goggles. Getting out there again really quickly. At this point in time, he had a lead of about 1 minute 40 seconds. So the lead was starting to get comfortable. And here comes Clayton into the pits.
Clayton with a quick refuel here. That's an interesting refueling mechanism. Looks like it's going to work pretty efficiently as well. Yes, there goes the fuel straight in. Nicely done. And then Grey Dick on the Schimmels Yamaha is the third man in. Right on his tail, though, is young Theo Potgieter on the 125. Can you believe this youngster? He is really a turn-up for the books for this season.
He looks set to be another Lawrence Mahoney, really going quickly.
It's unbelievable. I can't actually handle the fact that he's on a 125 and he's staying with Grey Dick, because Grey is not the slowest man out there on a motorcycle.
I think the terrain, Greg, also suited the smaller bikes here. Little 125's really nimble, able to get on the brakes really late and turn very quickly.
Interesting to see that old Butcher's down there as well, giving some advice to all of his KTM riders, and also out on the chopper, making sure that they're being looked after on the circuit. No one's going down. As we see Lawrence Merton, the second of the Ramco Suzuki boys, coming in.
And Bain and Kleinans, see everybody carrying a few bits of sugarcane.
Not the easiest thing to do. Oh, speaking of not easy, look at this little section. It's got really rutted up here, and a bit of mud is making it very difficult to get these motorcycles through.
When you think about it, that's the fastest man on the day, and look how carefully he went through here.
Yeah, exactly. Right on his tail now in second place, it's Grey Dick. And then it's that little 125 Suzuki, and he's in third place. What has happened to Clayton?
Clayton, as I said, drowned his bike earlier on, and we saw him on the circuit, stopped on the side, and we stopped to help him.
And that's a big pity there, because he was going so nicely. Bolly van Rooyen now moving up into fifth place on the Sediba Russell Campbell Kawasaki. And then it's Daryl. And he's in second place at the moment in the 250 class, just behind Bolly van Rooyen, but not too far behind, as you can see. And with a bit of competition right on his exhaust pipe in the hands of Lawrence Merton.
I think Daryl battled to get it together in the early stages of the race. He was suffering with a bit of flu, as was Gray, in fact. But Daryl got it together a bit later on in the race.
Marcus Talliard was just in that group as well. He's second place in the 200s, just behind Carl Poppleton. So those boys are having some fun so far. As we see Wynand Kleinans coming into this little section. Grabbing a handful there, that's not what you want to do through this kind of section.
Yeah, the smoother you can be in this type of mud, the better.
Definitely don't want to drop it. Because otherwise you're going to be picking up some handlebars full of mud, and that's the end of your lap basically for that lap, because you're not going to be able to hang on to the motorcycle if it gets all muddy.
That's a good point. You want to keep your gloves dry and your goggles clean, and that makes the race a whole bunch easier.
Craigie Stone looking pretty good too, the ECS KTM rider. He's using the inside line there too. Oi! We've got a little bit of a fenderless motorcycle here for Gavin Lowe.
Gavin Lowe looks like he's on a BMX bike.
Yeah, where'd that mud guard go, boy? That's going to be a tough one to try and keep the goggles clean if you don't have a mud guard on.
That's Corey van den Berg, the Ord Racing Honda rider, followed by Andrew Perry.
This is about third place in the 125s, if I'm not mistaken, at this stage.
Andrew Perry looked like he was really on the gas.
Now, Millies is having a good one here on the Ord Honda. Tell you something, it's not an easy motorcycle to get through, especially if you grab a handful. You can see the back end just steps out in that thick mud and it just flip-flops that motorcycle all around behind you. That's probably a good way to go through, just feet out both sides. Although, I don't know, I'd prefer to be standing up on the pegs myself. You see some of these riders making it look really easy. Other ones, well, maybe not as easy. This guy looks like he's pretty much on it. Didn't get a number there, unfortunately, because there's just mud everywhere. Stevie Williams, go boy! Oh, nice big roost there for the camera. Oh, and a man down. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that is Ruan Roberts for Arrow Racing, who's gone down there. We can't see a number, but it definitely looks like the youngster. If you get that motorcycle started up, that's not what you want to do, because look at that left-hand lever. It is just mud everywhere. Try and hang on to a motorcycle when you got that much mud on it.
I was standing here with a camera, and I tell you what, it was not easy to walk in this area, let alone ride.
Right, lap one completed for Spencer, and we can see it's Spencer because he's the only man who hasn't had anybody in front of him to roost him full of mud. But he has got a little bit of dirt on him, and he's now got about a 3-minute lead over this man, Grey Dick, on the Schimmels Yamaha. In third place, what an unbelievable ride from this youngster. Theo Potgieter for the Ramco Suzuki team, sitting in third. Quick changes and checks on the motorcycles. Not much to clean on Spencer's bike, but I think the boys behind are going to have a quick little clean with the high-pressure hoses. That'll make sure that the radiators don't get clogged up. You can see Erwin working overtime here. Let's find out from Gray how it's been so far.
Yeah, it's quite slippery in the corners. A lot of water on the muddy corners, which is making the cornering very, very slippery. Had a few problems out there this morning. Slid out, went over the bars, a couple of crashes and that. So I've caught everyone now, so I just want to try and get up to Spencer and see if I can catch him.
See, you've got a 125 keeping you honest.
Yeah, I know, he's right behind me and he's going. He's actually unbelievable, that guy. Theo is really on the gas.
He certainly is. To stay with you, Gray, on a 125. Let's find out from Theo how things have gone for him so far.
No, it's very wet. It's slippery though. It's my type of riding. I love it. Just got in a good pace, me and Gray. So just sitting behind Gray, got a good pace and enjoying it.
You're keeping the big bikes honest there.
Yeah, just my whole 125 is screaming all along. So I just hope it holds on and we can finish a race.
Big Ron and the Roost team working overtime on Hilton Smith's bike here. I wonder how his day has gone so far.
I made up quite a bit of time. I just got a bit of mud on my gloves, so my hands keep slipping off the accelerator and the handlebars. But otherwise it's all right. I've caught up to Lawrence Mertens and Marcus Tallard, which are in the Natal Championship, the guys I need to beat. So I'm ahead of them on time, but behind them in actual position. Yeah, it's looking good. I just want to keep it together and just sort out the slippery gloves, and hopefully we can make up a bit more time.
So far, so good for that man. There comes Kyle Poppleton and, of course, Gavin Lowe here into the Roost on his Mike Metzger replica. No front mudguard on that one. A little bit of work to do for these boys in the Roost team. But Gav Lowe having a good day. As you can see, they need to fix that number board so we can pick up on who the riders are out there. The Ord Honda team also having a great run so far. You can see different ways of refueling these motorcycles and an opportunity for the riders to get some well-earned sustenance into their bodies. High-pressure hoses, that's the way to go. Get that motorcycle clean, get all the rubbish out of the radiator so that we can get back onto the road and complete lap number 2. That's Wayne Kleinhans's motorcycle. The Sally's Yamaha boys working overtime.
The Ord Racing team has two sides to it, Yamaha and Honda.
And the Husqvarna boys also going to be having to do some work. There we can see them on Dudley Smith's bike. Let's find out how he's gone so far.
The marking's excellent, very, very slippery, lot of water, and off-camber turns, uphills, but the bike's going very well. Husqvarna very powerful. So yeah, it's been great. It's very well marked.
Do you find that it might have been easier on a smaller bike for this kind of terrain?
Yeah, definitely. A little 250 would be perfect, 4-stroke.
Well, as you can see, the pit's a hive of activity to get all these motorcycles back onto lap number 2. Another 108 Ks out past the Reading Dam that we can see in picture now, and into this magnificent area that the Tuskers boys have put together for this 5th round of the Off-Road Championship. Back out front, though, Spencer Creel, and once again, setting this field alight and pulling away from Grey Dick and Theo Porchita every single time we see him.
Spencer really is alive, and you look at Gray there, look how long it takes to slow that big bike down and get it turned.
Not the easiest thing to handle, a big and soda motorcycle, as we heard from Dudley Smith. A slightly smaller bike would probably be the best, and this is the bike that he'd probably like to be on today. As we can see, young Theo Porchita is still in 3rd place. So much easier to get that little 125 around that corner than what we saw Gray do.
Absolutely. I'm not that sure Gray would want to be on it. I don't know that it would go with Gray on.
Yeah, he is a slightly bigger man than young Theo Porchita. Kyle Poppleton up to 4th place. What a ride from this boy. He's going to be a man to watch out for as well later on today.
Kyle really is getting up there. His pace is incredibly quick nowadays.
First of the 250s, that's still Borley. I wonder how far back Daryl Curtis is going to be on the Sadiba Kawasaki man. Not too far by the looks of things. Yeah, there he is, right behind him. I think they're going to be a little bit of a battle between these two boys on this lap for the 250 honours.
As you can see, Daryl has Borley in his sights, and that's like a red flag to a bull.
Yeah, you don't want to be messing around with that. There's 2nd place in the 200s. That's Marcus Talliard. Bit of work to do to catch young Kyle Poppleton, who's about 4 minutes ahead of him at this stage. And there comes Lawrence Merton on the Ramco Suzuki.
Marcus Talliard going really well, considering he had an injury on his wrist recently, and he's riding with not totally healed wrist.
Wayne Kleinhaus taking a slightly different line there, just the inside line. You can see that the boys now seem to know a little bit more of the circuit, having done one lap. They're going to be moving around the circuit a lot quicker on this lap, and I'm sure the times are going to come down quite dramatically.
That's Wynand Delport, the Schimmel's Yamaha rider.
Craigie Stone coming into picture. You can hear the choppers in the background. It's great to see that Both Bell Equipment and the city of Umhlatuz have helped us out with some aerial material today. And a big thanks to yourself and Butch for the help there, Gary.
Yeah, I had a great grandstand view from the sky, and that's certainly the best way to watch a race, I can tell you that.
Must be quite awesome to see these boys absolutely flat out. Hey, they found the mudguard for Mike Metzger, Gavin Lowe.
And here comes Wade Blau of the Sally's Yamaha team, also part of the Ord Racing team.
Now, Ord putting in a lot of effort here. And speaking of Ord Racing, here comes another one of their riders.
It's Corey van den Berg on the big Honda.
Oh, and getting it sideways there, Casper Bardenhorst. Now, we haven't seen him all day. We normally see him a little bit further up the field than what he is at the moment. Bit of work there to do for Casper, riding for Schimmel's Yamaha. That's Grey Dick's team. Another Ord rider coming into our sights, number 18.
Yeah, that's Millie's Carl LaRue.
Yeah, Carl LaRue loves this kind of thing, and out in the cane fields, he's going to be at home. It's a similar kind of thing to when he's out in his Millie fields.
See how smooth the guys are. They're coming through here really quickly and not making any mistakes.
Oh, almost a little mistake there. Commentator's curse there, Gary, on Andrew Perry, but he managed to hang on to it, but only just. The pace has definitely picked up on this second lap. Guys know where they're going now. They know what to look out for, and they are absolutely flying around this magnificent area that we've got to ride in.
That's Sadiba Russell Campbell's Guy Henley.
Followed by Brian Badger Bader. Absolutely flying on the Roost Kawasaki. He's going to be a tough man to beat if he's in this kind of form. I don't think any of those senior riders have got the same kind of pace as what we've seen out of Brian Bader so far today.
Well, Brian was apparently an ex-top motocross international contender.
As you see one of the riders going down here, unfortunately, used the inside of the first turn and then used the outside of the exit, and unfortunately didn't get that right.
And there goes Kingsley Nurden on KTM.
So Kingsley in second place at the moment in the seniors. Yeah, Brian Bader, as we were mentioning there, an ex-world motocross champion rider. Finished up in the top 10, top 20 there. Spent a couple of years out there in the era of Rex Staten and, of course, our very own import, Jim Tarantino. Oh, rider down here. That's a big one. It's number 96. That's Dave Oram from the Ramco Suzuki team. Fortunately, he's been sorted out immediately by the Tusker staff and, of course, by the medical team here on board.
Dave's a really good rider, and it's sad to see him losing it here. I hope he's all right.
Well, we wish him all the very best, and hopefully he comes back to race really, really soon. But back to the front of the field. It's still Spencer out in front. And I'll tell you something, I don't think anybody's going to catch him. Even this man, Grey Dick, hasn't got an answer to Spencer's pace today.
And Theo Potgieter really on a charge behind Grey. Most of the race that we were watching, he was right behind Grey, on his back wheel all the time.
Well, you can see he's lost a little bit of time there to Grey, but I think he'll make it up when he gets into the more slipperier stuff. Kyle Poppleton's still in fourth place there, but leading the 200cc class. 250cc leader is still Wally van Rooyen on the Sadiba Russell Campbell Kawasaki. And right on his tail comes Daryl Curtis, AGA Mechatrade, Red Bull KTM.
Kyle doing very well to stay ahead of those boys.
Now, those boys normally push really, really quickly, but I think they're quite happy that they're in the positions that they're in. See Marcus Talliard there, and this is Lawrence Merton on the Ramco Suzuki.
The Ramco Suzuki team are really coming up, Greg. You see them more and more prominently nowadays.
Yeah, no doubt about that. They put a lot of effort in, and they're working overtime to get some really good riders onto their team, Lawrence Merton being one of them. Vayner nearly gets it out of shape here. I think he just put on a bit of a show there for the camera. Van Delport, right on his tail, looking pretty good too.
Wynand also a very good young rider. He rides with a lot of style. Obviously spends a lot of time on the motocross track.
As does this man, Craig Stone. Puts a lot of effort in and a lot of training into his work as well to make sure that he is fit for this kind of conditions.
One of our future promising riders is young Nicholas Pinar on the 125 Yamaha.
He's sitting in second place at the moment. Here comes Gav Lowe. A little further down the field is still in the top 10 though, so nice to see Gavin Lowe right up there. Next man, Wade Blau.
Wade Blau on the Sally's Yamaha.
Corey looking pretty good so far on that Ord Honda. It's going to be a difficult motorcycle to get through these little tricky twisty bits. Casper Bardenhorst is the next man up on the Schimmel's Yamaha, number 37. As we mentioned last time, he's had a great season and looking to finish up in the top 10. I think we're going to have no doubt from that man this season.
Certainly the conditions and the the route favoured the smaller bikes here, Greg.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think being on a 254 or a 125 is the way to go. Probably the 254 would be the ideal motorcycle for the conditions that we've got today.
Or the 125, as young Theo showed us for sure.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying. I can't actually believe he's going that quickly.
Andrew Perry also on a 125, screaming along.
Third place man in the 125s at this stage and looking pretty good, but a bit off the pace that Pienaar and Portkita are running. I don't think anybody's going to catch Portkita unless something goes wrong on that Suzuki, which is highly unlikely. But Pienaar definitely hasn't got the pace to catch him.
Yeah, and we saw Michael Spencer there going well, also being chased down by Kobus Jonk on the ORD Honda.
351, Brian Bader, this is the leader of the seniors. Look at how quick he is as well. You can see the experience that the man's got. Coming from Australia, now a resident in South Africa, and loving every part of this. Sean Kirk right on his tail though.
Sean Kirk with his Santa Claus pants there, going well.
Yeah, that's it, eh? Different spices for different riders, I'd say, out there at this point. Kingsley Nurden there in third place and looking good. Here's the winner of the silver class. Well done to that young man. That's Vernon Lowe on the Ord Honda. He's a happy man. And here comes our winner for the day for the senior class. Well done to that man. Absolutely flying around the circuit and riding for Roos Kawasaki. That's Brian Bader, or as we like to call him, the Badger.
And that's Sean Kirk finishing in second in the seniors. Good ride.
So Brian Bader takes it ahead of Sean Kirk. Kingsley Nurden finishes up in third ahead of Chris Stander. And in the Masters class, it was Heini van der Walt ahead of Henk Leenstra and Ian Cooper in third.
Yeah, it was not too bad. It actually dried out in the second lap. I thought it would be a bit wetter, but yeah, it was good. It was good.
Through the route, and were you worried about the guys chasing?
Look, on the second lap, I was worried. I lost my brakes, the front brake, about quarter of the way into the lap. And as anyone who rides a bike knows, it's very hard to ride it fast without a front brake. So I was a little bit worried, but a lot of the slower technical stuff I think helped me out. Although there's some pretty fast top gear sections there as well. You know, it's a bit hard to slow down and stop at the end of them.
You've got to watch out for them dingoes in your trick run as well there, Bader. But well done. Back to the front end of the field now, and absolutely cleanliness is next to goodliness, as they say. This is the man who's been the cleanest all day, Spencer Creel on the KTM, ahead of the still charging Grey Dick. I don't know if Grey's going to catch him in this last lap, but he's definitely going to give it a really good try.
Well, here's a man giving it a really good try to catch Grey at the moment. That's Theo.
Unbelievable how quick he is. And then first of the 250s, it's still Bolly van Rooyen, but looking back to see whether or not we can see Daryl Curtis in the picture. Not just yet. You can see Bolly looks up to the top of the hill. Here comes Curtis. Curtis only with a couple of Ks to go to try and catch Bolly van Rooyen, but I think he's definitely on a charge. He's got his race face on there. There's no doubt.
Well, you always know it's Daryl when the bike's sideways.
That's for sure. Poppleton looking good for a win here in the 200cc class. He's sitting in 5th overall too. Marcus Talliard is the man who's trying to close him down as quickly as possible. It's going to be KTM's 1 and 2, I think, in the 200cc class if they stay the way they are at the moment. And Lawrence Merton on the number 22 Ramco Suzuki.
Lawrence also having a fantastic ride, looking very smooth out there.
He's sitting in 3rd place at this point. No, in fact, he's in 4th place, I beg your pardon, in the 250 class. So he wanted to try and catch up to young Wynand Kleinans.
And here comes our winner, Spencer Creel.
A magnificent ride from Spencer, and the KTM boys are going to be very happy about this. Another win for this man this season, and a very, very happy man will be Spencer Creel for AGA Mechatrade Red Bull KTM.
No, it wasn't easy. I really enjoyed the first 60Ks, and every lap I went out, I just tried to put in a good 60Ks, no mistakes, and then the last 60 coming back here was a little bit slippery and lots of off-cambers, lots of places to make mistakes. So I just sort of went easy, not slowly, but just tried not to make mistakes there, which seemed to work.
And a slow 10 minutes later, Grey Dick came across the line in 2nd place, but I think on corrected times, we may see the youngster Theo Portkita move into 2nd place ahead of Grey, considering that he started 25 seconds behind him at the start of the day, and he's only finished up a couple of seconds behind him. In fact, you're going to see there he is, as I say it, right into picture. But what a magnificent ride from those two men to finish up 2nd and 3rd. Spencer Creel takes it overall ahead of Theo Portkita. There you can see the corrected time. Grey Dick finishes up in 3rd place ahead of Daryl Curtis, who managed to pip Bolly van Rooyen in that final couple of Ks. Kyle Poppleton in 6th place. Well done to Spence on a magnificent day's racing, and what an awesome podium to have a Bell Equipment backloader as your podium. Top of the 200cc class was Poppleton ahead of Talliard and Craig Stone, and in the 125 class, Nicholas Pinar eventually finishes up behind Portgieter and Andrew Perry there in third place on the Yamaha.
Yeah, I worked hard out there today. I ride my heart out and I just kept the pace and just try to keep that pace like all the time and don't get tired and just carry on. So I came to the end and it works.
Do you think the smaller bike was more suited to this kind of terrain?
Yeah, definitely. It's much lighter, it's a bit faster through the corners. It's much more like you can throw it around and stuff. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Open class taken by Spencer Creel ahead of Grey Dick, and Corey van den Berg eventually finished up in third place there. Daryl Curtis took the 250s ahead of Van Rooyen, and of course Wynand Kleinhans there in the Yamaha in third. The Irvin Bell Off-Road Challenge was brought to us by the City of Umhlatoes and Bell Equipment.